traders, FX Pip Collector here. Today is Saturday, March 23rd, and I'm going to be analyzing all these pairs on this list right here from top to bottom. Every single pair on this list, including Bitcoin, the S&P 500, natural gas, oil, and I also have gold and silver on the list. Every single thing on this list I do analyze daily for my premium members. So if anybody is interested, I do these Zoom meetings every single morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 90 minutes long, starting at 7:30 a.m. UK time. And I also do a New York Zoom meeting on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 hours long, starting at 1 p.m. UK time. We look for trades in these Zoom meetings. I do live trading. I'm not a scalper, but I do look for live trades during these Zoom meetings. And if you do have a mic, the second half of the New York Zoom meeting, if there's no news, then I do open it up for questions, and you're more than welcome to talk to me if you like. So you do get these Zoom meetings included. Also, every single swing trade that I enter, I do share with the group. It is not a signal service, but when I do enter a swing trade, I say I'm entering now, and I tell you where my stop loss is. As far as take profit goes, I don't use a take profit because I really do not believe in limiting myself to how much money I can make on a trade, so I'm not a big believer in take profits. This membership is $30 a month. It's the cheapest I've ever offered the membership. You get access to my Discord channels, access to the educational information, access to the trading course, which is located on here, over 35 videos long, and the live trading sessions. So like I said, if anybody's interested, the link for that will be in the description, but it's pretty easy to remember. It is fxpipcollector.com. So definitely check that out. Like I said, this is the cheapest I've ever offered the membership, and with the fact that I do these live trading sessions and I sell all my swing trades, it definitely wouldn't take you very long to make your money back on that, that's for sure. So anyways, let's start off with Bitcoin and let's make our way all the way up throughout this list. I think Bitcoin is very clearly in a wave 3 right now, 1, 2, and this is all a wave 3. Now the question is whether we're in a wave 4 of wave 3 or whether this is actually the wave 4, because I do see a subdivision 1, 2, 3 here, which means that this could just be a wave 4 of wave 3, which means it might go up one more time, and then that possibly would be the end of a wave 3. So long story short, I think we're in a wave 4, possibly a wave 4 of wave 3, or possibly a wave 4 of the whole trend. Either way, I do think at some point we are going to get another nice long opportunity and probably another pretty nice rally on Bitcoin. So definitely looking for like a 3-wave ABC pullback to go long for the continuation of the uptrend. The S&P 500, man, what a rally this thing has been on. It's very obviously a wave 3 still. And if you go down to, I don't know, maybe the 8-hour time frame or so, you can start to see the subdivisions of this wave 3. So we got a 1 of 3, we got a 2 of 3, and this is definitely all higher highs, higher lows. We are definitely still in this wave 3 of 3. Eventually, you would think it would make a 4 and a 5 looking something like that, but no breaker starts it to the downside, no lower high, no big Fibonacci bounce, no big engulfing move tells me that I would 100% be doing nothing but looking for longs at the end of every single one of these pullbacks on shorter time frames. Like I said, we do analyze all these pairs on this list right down to the 1 hour, sometimes even 30-minute, 15-minute time frames, looking for entries during my Zoom meetings. Natural gas, I think, is pretty clearly in a wave 5 right now, and we may actually, I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in a wave 5, and I still think it's most likely going to go down and take out those lows. So, and then also, if you kind of get rid of this, I think this is a subdivision, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very overlapping, which tells me it probably is an ending diagonal wave 5, which wave 5s do form ending diagonals quite often, so it definitely makes a lot of sense. So, looking for shorts on that on shorter time frames for sure. I am definitely looking for another long on oil. I feel like it's probably going to stretch out a little more, though. It's probably going to end up looking something like this. But I definitely am looking for another long on oil. I think it needs to go up, finish off this ABCDE pattern, probably at least go up to the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of the whole move down on the daily time frame. Which actually, let's take it up to the daily so you can see what I mean. Yeah, I think that there's a very good chance this is like an ABCDE. It's probably not a traditional ABCDE because ABCDs are supposed to be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 patterns, but I mean it's basically a 5-wave correction, and I think it is probably going to go up to one of these fib levels, probably bounce out the top of this channel, and then I think we're going to have a big short for the continuation of the downtrend. So Taking it to the Forex pairs. Some of these Swiss pairs made a big move. This was a very, very good week. We made some very, very, very good profits this week, especially on some of the dollar trades. And last week we had some Swiss news. We had pound news last week. We had all kinds of news last week, which we kind of got spoiled in a way because this coming up week, the news calendar is pretty slow this coming up week. A lot of places have Friday as a bank holiday. Some places have Thursday as a bank holiday. There is a couple highlights on the calendar, like we got GDP for the CAD on Thursday. That's definitely not too bad. We got CPI for Aussie. We got consumer confidence for the dollar. There's definitely a few things, but compared to last week, it is a very light news week to come. But that definitely doesn't necessarily mean there's not going to be some entries, so we definitely will be keeping an eye on that. The Kiwi Swiss, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, with this big engulfing move to the downside, I originally was thinking that this was an A, this was a B, and that this was already in a wave C, and that the wave C was already over, like this was a 1, and this was an A, B, C of 2, and now we're going down for a wave 3. I think that's still how I would call it, and I would definitely still be looking for shorts on shorter time frames. If this really is trending down and this really is the end of an ABC, probably an ABC of 4, then it probably will go down and take out the previous lows. So taking it down to the shorter time frames, I would definitely be looking for shorts at the end of pullbacks. The Kiwi CAD has already been going down very, very strong, as you can see. I think it's extremely clear. And, because of correlating pairs, we can take this clarity and apply it to other pairs like the Aussie CAD. But I think it's very, very, very clearly an uptrend, probably a wave 1. Based on the weekly time frame, I think it's a wave 1. I think this is also very clearly 5 waves down, wave A, 3 waves up, wave B, 1, 2, 3 of wave C, and I think this is not over yet. I think it needs to continue down, finish a wave 3, make a wave 4, make a wave 5, and possibly even go all the way down to this trend line to retest that trend line. So I definitely would be looking for shorts. Eventually, it is going to end the wave 2 and start making an uptrend, which should be a wave 3. But until we have evidence that that wave 3 is back, or the wave 3 is in action, with a break with the end of a trend for the wave C, then I would be looking for shorts on shorter time frames. The Kiwi Swiss. Now, like I said, the Swiss is, like I was saying, the Kiwi Swiss kind of looks like it wants to go down. But honestly, if the other Swiss pairs don't look like they're going down, the Kiwi Swiss may not go down yet either. To me, this really doesn't look like it's going down in a big way. I mean, it did bounce off a fib level, it did turn, but it's not an engulfing move to the downside. I actually think that this is more likely to go up more, and I think it's actually probably eventually going to go up and take out these highs. So until this daily time frame tells us that this is going down, which it definitely has not done so yet, I would for sure be looking for long entries. I'd be looking to go long at the end of ABC pullbacks, probably around, I don't know, maybe the 30-minute, 1 hour time frame. Aussie Kiwi was one of the highlights of the last couple of weeks for me. I said these trades with the group at the time I entered, but the first entry I took was right here. It did go below there, but my stop loss was plenty out of the way, so it didn't matter. And then my second entry was right here, and both of these trades we held until right about here. And then I entered again on Friday right here, and I got out right there. So we've had 3 trades on this over the last 2 weeks, and these 2 big trades right here, between the both of them, it was about a 15-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And I said all these trades with the members of my group at the time that we entered them. I actually think this one we entered in the Zoom meeting all together at the same time. So extremely, extremely, extremely profitable week we've had. I actually think that we're going up for a wave C. I think this is a big wave A. I think this is a triple zigzag ABCD, or ABCX, ABCX, ABCX of B. So this is a B. And I think that now we are trending up for a wave C, which I actually expected to go all the way up to this higher level up here. So definitely looking for longs in a uptrend on pullbacks. Aussie Swiss. The Aussie Swiss turned down pretty hard because of the Swiss pairs, but I'm not really convinced that these are over. I mean, we are at the 100%. If it does start to make lower highs or break structure on a little bit of a shorter time frame, then yeah, I definitely would be looking for shorts at that point. But until we have evidence on these roadmap time frames, like these higher time frames, like the 8-hour, 12-hour daily, all the way up to the weekly, that this really is going down, I would actually continue to look for longs in an uptrend. I think it's more likely that it is going to go up to a little bit higher, maybe to 123 or to 138 to finish off this wave C. So looking for longs on that. Like I was saying, because of the Kiwi CAD, we were able to find some clarity with the Aussie CAD. And this is extremely clear that this is an uptrend. This is also pretty clear that this is a downtrend, probably a wave A. This is definitely looking like 3 waves up, probably a wave B. This is probably going to continue down. I'm not really convinced it's going to go down and take out the low like the Kiwi, because the Kiwi is much weaker. I mean, it definitely may go down and take out that low before it goes up, but it also could pretty easily make a higher low, maybe turn like this. Either way, we'll know when this ABC correction is over, because we will be able to identify the end of a trend for the wave C, and that will tell us that the correction is over. And I definitely will take that as a long, and I definitely will share that with all my premium members at the time of the entry. So the pound Kiwi, I actually personally think this is a wave 3. I think we're in a wave 3 of wave 5. I think this is a 1. I think this is a 2. This is a 3. This is a big ABC of 4. I think this is a 1 of 5, a 2 of 5, and I think we're in a wave 3 of 5, which I believe is probably going to go all the way up to about the 2.1800 area. So if this really is a wave 3, then I would definitely be watching this one for long entries on shorter time frames, looking for pullback entries to go long for the continuation of this uptrend. The pound Aussie. So the pound Aussie has turned down quite a bit, but I do expect pretty much the same thing about this. We have a little bit of a channel right here, which I actually think is probably a 1 and a 2. Now this could turn into an expanding triangle, because this is slanted up, which means this bottom could be slanted down. And if that's the case, then price probably would go down further before it actually does trend up. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on it, because we do have a channel bounce right here. And if this is the end of a correction, it's just going to keep on trending up. But if it makes a lower high on the shorter time frames and starts to push down, then we can probably change this bottom angle to match this top angle, but in reverse. So if this is like 12 degrees up, then this would be 12 degrees down, and that would give us an expanding triangle, and then it would look something like that. So I don't really care if it goes up now or if it does go down, because either way we should better recognize what's happening, and we definitely should be able to trade accordingly. The pound Swiss also made a big turn, just like all the other Swiss pairs. But what's important to see here is we have no break of structure, we have no lower high, we do have an engulfing move. I think personally this is just going to be the start of a correction, and I still think we're in a wave 3, and I would still be looking for longs. I think that most likely this correction is probably going to take a few days, so don't get too excited about going long right away, like Monday or Tuesday. But, maybe towards the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, we might end up getting another nice continuation of the uptrend pattern on the shorter time frames. The pound CAD. I'm definitely still looking for longs on this. If you go all the way up to the weekly, some of our members were looking at this as a possible ending diagonal type pattern, but I actually think it is more likely to go up. I have my Fibonacci retracement out here. I'm looking for 3 waves down. I'm looking for impulsive engulfing to go long. It really has already made 3 waves down, but I kind of suspect that this could be stretched out into a little bit of a bigger correction like that. But if this move down right here, 3 waves down, Fibonacci bounce, 61.8, if it starts to break structure on the shorter time frames, then I would definitely take that as a long, or I would start looking for longs at the end of pullbacks on an even shorter time frame. So let's keep going to the Euro Kiwi, which I think is just like the pound Kiwi. I think we're in a wave 3. I think this is a 3. I think this is an ABCDE of wave 4. I think this is a 1, a 2, and we're currently in a wave 3, which I think has a lot of upside potential. I believe this wave 5 will take out the high of wave 3, probably all the way up to, maybe even all the way up to the 1.85 area. So definitely looking for longs. The Euro Aussie, very similar to the pound Aussie, meaning that we're making either a channel or an expanding triangle. It definitely looks like an A, B, C, D, E, and it kind of almost looks like it could even already be over. So we definitely need to look for evidence on shorter time frames, which we definitely do know how to tell when something is over. And I go through all these pairs daily in my Zoom meetings every single weekday. So if this really is over, then we should better recognize it, and we should be able to take it as a long opportunity for the continuation of the uptrend. So let's keep going. Euro pound has possibly proven that it's the end of a correction. If this really is the end of an ABC, which we have 1 down, corrective up, and 1 down, and now we have a break of structure, which should help prove that this really is the end of a wave C. If this really is the end of a wave C, then it will take this high, and it most likely will take this high also. So this could very easily be the beginning of a very, very long, drawn-out trend that possibly would even be like the end of a correction all the way up to the weekly. If this right here is the end of a correction, this possibly will make an uptrend over the coming probably 6 months or so that might even go up and start taking out these major highs. So if that's the case, then we definitely want to try to build a position to the long side on this one on shorter time frames. The Euro Swiss, very similar to the Pound Swiss. I still think it's a 1, I think it's a 2, and I think it's a wave 3. We do have a little bit, I mean, it didn't quite hit the fib, but definitely close enough for me to call a hit. But I definitely don't see a break of structure to the downside. I definitely don't see a lower high. I don't even see an engulfing move. Yeah, maybe this move down will last a few days, but I think the trend is up. And I actually think it might even go up to like the 261.8 just to finish off this wave 3. So definitely looking for longs in an uptrend on that. USDCAD is another one where I do think it is going to continue up at some point. It might even surprise us and continue up, early next week. I still think this is a 1. I still think this is a big ABC, most likely a 2. I think we're looking at subdivisions right now, like a 1 of 3. We're probably in a 2 of 3, which may not be over. It may actually go down a little bit more, just like the pound CAD, maybe down to the 50% even, before it actually does go up and make that big old wave 3. So depending on what time frames you trade, if you trade the 1 hour and under, then you could definitely be looking for sorts until the daily time frame shows us the end of this wave 2, or like the 12-hour, 8-hour to daily time frame shows us the end of this wave 2. Then we can start looking for longs again for the continuation of this big wave 3. So on to the yen pairs, which I am always a big fan of the yen and the dollar pairs because they correlate so well with each other, and because of correlation we can have a very good idea usually of what direction we should be trading in. Now, most of the yen pairs did make a pretty big move to the downside, but I am very bullish on the yen. The yen has been in about a 4-year uptrend right now, and I don't know about you guys, but over the last 4 years, if you literally did nothing but look for longs in an uptrend at the end of every single pullback, then you probably have made significant increases in your account. That's pretty much what we've been doing, so that's what I will continue to do, at least until we get some sort of a major reason probably on this one, like the weekly time frame, that this really is going down. This did make an impulsive move down, but it did not break structure. It didn't really do anything to tell me that it's going down in a big way. I am primarily looking for longs in a uptrend. Now, going down to the 1 hour time frame real quick, I mean, it just looks like one trend down, which tells me it's probably not going to be an entry to go long yet. I would have to see some sort of a 3-way pattern to go long, probably an ABC, maybe a Fibonacci bounce, break of structure, then I would go long for the continuation of the uptrend. So all the yen pairs to me are pretty much the same story. Yes, they did make a big push down, but we do not have a Fibonacci bounce. We do not have a break of structure. Most of them don't even have a lower high or anything. Maybe it is the start of a correction that will maybe last a few, like, this correction right here lasted a week or two. This one lasted a week or two, so maybe it will be a correction that goes down for a week or two. So if you do trade the 1 hour time frame and below, you could definitely be looking for shorts. If you're more of a swing trader, then you're probably patiently waiting for the end of a correction to go long for the continuation of the uptrend. The Kiwi yen. The Kiwi has been a very weak currency, as you can see, so I do think that this is going to go up eventually, but I do think this is an A. I think this big move up was a B, and I think we're going down for a C. I expect it to go down to like the 78%, and I think there's a pretty good chance that at that point it will end the correction and continue back up. So same thing on all these yen pairs. If you're trading the 1 hour time frame and below, then you could probably look for shorts. If you're more of a swing trader, then you're probably waiting for the end of a correction to go long. So basically the same thing on all these yen pairs. Yeah, they definitely did make a big turn down. Yes, it may be a correction that possibly would last a week or two, but I do believe that eventually, maybe in a week or maybe this coming up week, maybe the week after, but either way, you could look for shorts until you identify the end of a correction. Once you identify the end of a correction, you can start going long again for the continuation of this 4-year uptrend. The pound yen, the pound had some news this week that was actually affected the pound in a pretty negative way, so the pound definitely did make an impulsive engulfing move to the downside, which is why I would probably be looking for shorts on like the 1 hour time frame and below, but I would also keep into consideration that we're probably going to get a Fibonacci bounce, maybe the 78.6, ABC down, impulsive up for the continuation of the uptrend. So yes, you could definitely look for shorts on the 1 hour time frame and below, but you need to keep in mind that you're probably trading a correction that will eventually end and continue the uptrend. So the euro yen. Euro yen is actually really convincing that it's going up. I mean, I would never look at this picture right here and say that looks like it's just going to keep on going down. I think the odds of this turning into a downtrend are extremely low. I mean, yeah, maybe it will correct for the most of the upcoming week, especially since there's really not much news this week. But I do believe at some point it will end up continuing the uptrend. So let's move on to the dollar pairs. We got gold and silver, and then all the favorites, the dollar pairs, which I actually think that the US dollar yen is more of a yen pair. So let's look at that one real quick. So the US dollar yen is sitting at a fib extension level. If you've watched my YouTube videos on the dollar yen, which I make every single day, then you know that I'm still very bullish and I have a target of at least 154, 155. We are at a fib level, so maybe it will make a pullback. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just keep on drifting up. Either way, I would 100% be looking for longs on this. We are back up at these highs, and I actually do think that it is going to break out of those highs, and maybe we're in a wave 5 on the weekly and monthly, maybe not. Either way, definitely looking for longs in an uptrend for the continuation of this very, very big 4-year uptrend that we've been seeing on the yen pairs. So let's check out silver. Silver and gold definitely both have a pretty significant break of structure. It's very clearly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. We very clearly have a break of structure. So now that we have a break of structure, which we can do now, we can throw our Fibonacci retracement from the top to bottom. And we can be looking for a reversal. But since we have a break of structure, this is probably going to be only a wave A. This is probably eventually going to drift up, but it's probably going to be a wave B, and then it's probably going to drift down for a wave C. I would expect, one of these fib levels, which really it could be any one of them. We definitely do have ways of determining which one is most likely, by extending these lines to the left and looking for support and resistance areas that line up with the Fibonacci areas. But I do believe we're going to make an ABC correction, which will probably last a week or two, and then eventually I do think that this is going to continue up. I think gold and silver both have a very, very lots and lots of upside potential. So looking for longs after the pullback. Now gold that has not technically broken structure yet, so we can't really say for sure, but looking at this pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would say that it is going to break structure. Once it does break structure, I will throw my Fibonacci retracement on there, and just like silver, I'll look for 3 waves down, I'll look for impulsive up for the continuation of the uptrend. You have to be a little bit more cautious on silver because it has not broken structure, which tells me there's always a possibility that it makes a higher low and just keeps on trending up. So a lot is going on in the world right now too. We had that incident last night in Russia, the bombing in Russia, and gold usually does rally when there's some sort of a war or something going on. So that's why I say be cautious about going short. I mean, there's definitely a chance this could make a higher low and just keep on going up. My target on gold is 2,550. So we have lots and lots of upside potential on gold. So let's move on to the dollar pairs. Before I do so, I just want to remind you one more time that every single thing on this list, I analyzed the full top-down analysis all the way down to the 1 hour. Sometimes I do even go down to the 30-minute, 15-minute time frame for my premium members. You're not going to ever find me trading on the 1, 3, 4, 5-minute time frames, 10-minute time frames. I am not a scalper, so definitely be aware if you join my membership. I am not a scalper. We do have some scalpers in the group, but I personally do not even desire to scalp, so I am definitely more of a swing trader / day trader. But every single thing on this list I do analyze every single day for my premium members. I already showed you guys a few of the setups that we took this week, and I'll show you guys a few of the setups that we took on the dollar pairs. But if anybody is interested, the website is FXPipCollector.com. I like to call it learning and earning at the same time because the whole focus of this is for you to learn to trade, and that's why I have this trading course that comes free with the membership. If you actually click on here, I have about 35 videos that come free with the membership that you can watch. And that's why I like to call it learning and earning at the same time, because I want you to learn to trade. That's the primary focus of me, is to teach people to trade. But I call it learning and earning because I also sell on my swing trades at the time I enter, and during these live Zoom meetings that I do during the New York and the London session, we take live trades during these sessions all the time. So I like to call it learning and earning at the same time because I want to teach you to trade. I want you to learn to trade, but while you're learning, you can still be earning a little bit by following along with my swing trades and following along with entries that we may take in the Zoom meetings. So definitely check that out. I already showed you a couple of the trades that we took this week, and man, we had an extremely profitable week. This was a very, very good week for us. We kind of got spoiled because there was a lot of news this previous week, and this coming up week, there really isn't a whole lot of news. So anyways, let's move on. US dollar Swiss. I still think this is a 1 and I still think it's a 2, but I do suspect that this might actually go up more. Looking at the dollar index does look like it might possibly go up more, so I do think there is a possibility this could go up and break that structure, which may invalidate the wave 2, but I think if we look at the weekly and the monthly, we could still call this, a correction to the downtrend. So whether or not it goes all the way up or whether it bounces off like the 78%, I guess is yet to be determined. I would definitely be looking for longs. Either way, we should be able to recognize when this does end the correction or when it does turn back down very, very easily, especially in one of our Zoom meetings. So I would be looking for longs on shorter time frames until the higher time frames, like the 12-hour, 8-hour, daily, and up, tell me otherwise. US dollar CAD, I also think is very clearly still in a correction, but this one I do not think is going to break the high. I think this is a five-wave pattern, very clearly a wave 1. I still think this is a wave A, B, C correction, probably a wave 2. We are approaching the 61.8, which definitely could hold, but it doesn't have to stop there. I mean, it could go all the way up to the 78.6, and looking at the dollar index, it may actually be more likely that it is going to go up to the 78.6. But honestly, for me, it doesn't matter whether it turns into 61.8 or the 78.6 because we will be able to recognize that, and I will be looking for longs on shorter time frames until we do recognize when we had the end of a correction. When we do recognize we had the end of a correction, we will definitely stop looking for longs and we will definitely start looking for shorts again. The Kiwi. Kiwi has been one of the weakest pairs. I still think this is a 1. I still think this is a 2 that we're currently in, but I think it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave A. I think this is like an A, B, C, D, E type pattern, basically just a 5-wave correction. Wave B, I think we're clearly going down, and I think we're clearly going to go down to at least a 78.6 Fibonacci retracement. So I think for at least this week and maybe even next week, we're going to be looking for shorts. But at some point, I do think this is going to end the correction, end the wave 2, probably at the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement. Then I think we're going to make a big, big rally for a big wave 3. For now, I would definitely be looking for shorts on shorter time frames, though. So the Aussie dollar, same thing, except for the Aussie is not quite as weak. I still think this is a 5-wave uptrend, wave 1. I still think this is a downtrend right here, wave A. I still think this is 1, 2, 3, wave B. I think this is more likely a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of wave C. So it could possibly still turn at the 61.8, but I think it's more likely to go down to the 78.6, finish off this ABC of 2, and then end up continuing the uptrend. So basically, I would definitely, especially if you trade the 1 hour and below, I would definitely be looking for shorts for now. Once we identify the end of this ABC correction, then we can stop looking for shorts and start looking for longs again. So taking it right down to the pound dollar. Pound dollar, I think, is making a expanding triangle for the wave 2. I think this is very clearly 5 ways up. 1. I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a leading diagonal wave A. I think even though this is a higher high, which if you know anything about Elliot wave Bs do often make higher waves sometimes. 1, 2, 3 wave up, wave B. I think we're going down. Now, I think it might even go beyond this 38. I think it could even possibly go down to the 50. So we'll keep a close eye because the 38 could definitely hold. But it seems more likely that it might even go down, take out the low of wave 4 to make this wave C, which would be an ABC of 2, and then end up continuing back up. Like I said, it looks to me like an expanding triangle. I mean, it's not really much of a triangle because it is just an ABC, which a triangle is supposed to be an ABCDE, but basically it's just like an expanding wedge or an expanding triangle wave 2, and then eventually it's going to go up for a wave 3. Now, the pound dollar is one of the most amazing trades that we had last week. I entered this thing with the group right here at the break of structure. I had like a 24 pip stop loss, and we rode this thing almost all the way down. I did end up getting out someplace right here, and then we looked for another re-entry on Friday. But man, we had about a 8 to 1 risk to reward ratio on this thing to the short side. A lot of the people in the group did end up taking this to the long side, and then they got out and then taking it to the short side. So this is one of the most amazing trades that we had. Another really, really good trade that we took this week when we switched around a little bit was sorting the Aussie CAD. We sorted the Aussie CAD right there at that impulsive engulfing move, stop loss right there. I didn't hold on to this one the whole way either because I had things to do. But boy, I rode this pretty much all the way to about there. About a 4 to 1 risk to reward ratio. This is another trade that I took with the premium members in my group. Anybody that signs up for my website gets access to these trades. And another trade that we took was the euro dollar short. Right here at the breaker structure, right at the close of that candle, we went short with about a 25 pip stop loss, and we rode this thing all the way down. I think I ended up getting out right there just because it was such an amazing trade and we were back at the lows. But what a amazing week we had. I made a significant increase to my account, and I know some of the people in the group also made an extreme significant increase in their account. So, if anybody is interested, like I said, I'm offering my membership for the very low price of $30. I do not want to be one of those people on YouTube that makes millions of dollars selling trading courses. I want to be one of those people on YouTube that makes millions of dollars trading and then offers a very cheap membership and helps other people make millions of dollars trading. You're not going to find too many people that offer what I do for $30 a month. And if you're paying with pounds, if you're in the UK, that's actually like 25 pounds a month. If you're paying in Europe, then that's like 28 euros a month. So this is extremely cheap, especially with the fact that I share my swing trades. I do 9 Zoom meetings a week. The New York Zoom meetings are 2 hours long. The London live Zoom meetings are 90 minutes long. It comes with a trading course, which is located here on my website. And I have a ton of educational information on Discord. Pretty much every Elliot way pattern you can think of is marked out in the bull and the bear version on Discord. Access to all the private channels and the live trading sessions. So definitely check that out. The link is in the description, but really it's pretty easy to remember. FXPipCollector.com, which is the name of my YouTube channel also. So taking it to the euro dollar. This euro dollar has been very clear, I think. I think it's very clearly a 1. I think this is also very clearly a downtrend, wave A. I think this is 1, 2, 3 waves up, wave B. I think we're at a 1, 2, 3, which is probably maybe going to the 61.8, possibly the 78.6. Either way, I definitely will be able to recognize when we have the end of a correction. When we have the end of a correction, we will get out of our shorts, or we'll stop looking for shorts, which I believe is a wave 2, and I still think this is going to go up for a big giant wave 3. So definitely looking for shorts on shorter time frames at the end of pullbacks, and we will continue to look for shorts on shorter time frames at the end of pullbacks. Until then, we will, like I said, definitely check out my membership. The link for that is in the chats in the description. If you don't want to join my membership, you can definitely join my Discord channel. The Discord channel is 100% free to join. You're not going to get any of the benefits you do as a member. But like I said, you're not going to find anybody charging $30 a month for what I offer. And one of the guys in my group made a comment this last week. He trades funded accounts, and he made a comment how my membership is $30 a month, and he made $3,400 this month on his funded account. So he had to pay me $30 a month, and he made $3,400 this month on his funded account. So just think about that for a minute. And like I said, you can just sign up for 1 month. You can cancel anytime. It's not a commitment. You don't have to like sign up for a year or anything. You can sign up $30, cancel at any time. If you're not happy, cancel. No problem. No, not a problem at all. So hopefully everybody does have a good week. I think that it is going to be a little bit of a slow week this coming up week because we don't have a lot on the news calendar, and we got Easter coming up at the end of the, Easter Sunday is at the end of the month. So it might be a little bit of a slow week, especially for the weeks we've had in the last couple of weeks, but definitely doesn't mean that there's not going to be some entries, and definitely doesn't mean there's not going to be some money to be made. So if anybody's interested in joining my membership, once again, it's FXPipCollector.com. If anybody's interested in joining my Discord channel, which is 100% free, which I'm trying to build a community of like-minded traders, the link for that is in the chats also. As always, thanks and happy trading.